continues to get worse for Bob Griner. All hope officially lost. The vacation plans she and her husband were making for Woke Christmas next June, those plans are scrapped. I am generally a positive person. When negative situations arise, I not only try to find the solution, I also look at the positives of the situation. In most cases, even when things appear hopeless, there's always something positive that comes out of it. You just gotta look for it. I know Brittney Griner is feeling hopeless at this point. I know her woke tear tank is empty and she doesn't have access to refills. Being the positive person that I am, I was able to find a couple of positives that will hopefully bring solace to the BG and her husband or woke wife, whichever you prefer. Positive number one. Bob Griner has actually accomplished a first. You guys know how much graduates of woke you love first. Bobby has officially become the first woke welfare recipient in the WNBA dump to become a household name, a mainstream level star. Prior to her Russian vacation, Brittney Griner was unknown. She was living a difficult life. Oftentimes, when she was walking the streets, she had to deal with the pain of being misgendered. When they asked to take her order at Burger King, they often referred to her as ma'am. This was a blow to Bob's ego. I mean, no dude wants to be mistaken for a woman. She also dealt with the pain of mythical misogyny. The BG could not understand why men were not filling the dump to watch her miss free throws. Which leads me to my next point, positive number two. For the next 9 years, Brittney Griner will be living in improved living conditions compared to what she's used to. No more sleeping on dirt-covered ground in the dump. No more propping cardboard boxes on sticks to cover yourself when it rains. No more diving through dumpsters looking for food that rats thought was too disgusting to consume. Bob now sleeps on a nice mattress. She's given 3 meals a day. No more accepting woke welfare. The BG now has the pleasure of working for her money. Here in America, she only had 1 wife. Over in Russia, they have given her 2 wives. There will be plenty of cucumber tag teaming over the next 9 years. It was announced earlier this morning. Russian officials denied the appeal of Brittney Griner. It is officially official. No more speculation. No amount of prayer to the woke oak tree will change things. Brittney Griner is spending the next 9 years in a Russian prison. Now, of course, once her denied appeal hit the newswire, the mainstream media began elevating the propaganda. You know how over the last few months, the talking point in the media has been that Brittney Griner is being wrongfully detained? Eager shitfucks like Steph Curry took it a step further by claiming her sister was wrongfully incarcerated, even though she pled guilty. Well, now they're taking it another step further. They just keep climbing the woke ladder. Not only is Brittney Griner wrongfully detained, not only is she wrongfully incarcerated, according to the mainstream media, now that her appeal has been denied, Brittney Griner is now being held hostage. Held hostage? Held hostage? Normally in hostage situations, the person being held against their will has people wanting to get them back. For example, kidnapping for ransom. A kidnapper takes a child, maybe a spouse. They demand a ransom from their loved ones for their return. Or when a gunman enters a school or a bank and is holding students hostage or bank tellers hostage, there are concerned parents and loved ones on the outside want their kids to return safely. How can Brittney Griner be considered a hostage when America doesn't want her back? The shitfucks, they are also continuing with the claim that Bob Griner is being used as a political pawn. According to a recent Seton Hall poll, also known as the New Jersey campus of Woke U, 62% of respondents agreed that Bobby is being used as a political pawn. If that's the case, how come the Biden administration has barely done a damn thing to bring her back to the dump? Outside of offering the Russians a career criminal, Joe Biden has done absolutely nothing but virtue signal. We really miss Whitney Shriner. We are doing everything we can to get him home. Mr. President, her name is Brittney Griner, and you failed to use proper pronouns when addressing her. Oh, well, doesn't matter what his name is. To make matters worse for Bob and the media narrative, nearly 50% of respondents in this poll said America has already done enough to bring Brittney Griner home. In other words, Tough shit, you're staying over there. 22%? 22% said they didn't know who Brittney Griner was. More than likely, she's going to serve the full 9-year sentence. Russia they rarely offer criminals early release, unlike here in America, where you can brutally rob Granny Gertrude in a New York City subway and not only be released without bail, you're also given an increase in your woke welfare. Because you wouldn't be out committing crime if you had more money. That's the woke answer to everything. Throw money at the problem. We spend more money on education in this country than every other country in the world. Yet for some reason, 70% of fourth graders don't know how to read. Instead of teaching them how to read in school, they're teaching them how to properly use the vacuum cleaner, while the non-binary teacher explains how he became pregnant without having sexual organs. The mainstream media, they are not letting this Brittney Griner situation go to waste. They are also using her to highlight the problem of mythical misogyny. According to Deadspin, female athletes don't have the same freedom as their male counterparts. The last I checked, the Sue Bird had the same level of freedom as LeBron James. They're both married. One's married to a woman, the other a prepubescent boy. They both play basketball for a living. Well, LeBron plays basketball. The Sue Bird pretends to play. Well, KC, they are talking about financial freedom. The women of the WNBA are mistreated. They are underpaid, which forced Brittney Griner to play basketball in Russia. She makes more rubles than dollars. That sounds like freedom to me. Matter of fact, it sounds like the definition of a free market system. Since Russians clearly don't have access to real basketball, they were willing to pay a pretender what they felt was fair market value to entertain them by airballing layups. Deadspin fell back on the same tired argument that if a man was in Brittney Griner's situation, he would already be released. If someone like LeBron James, Tom Brady was in a Russian prison, Americans would be fighting harder to get them out. Number one, this is actually one of the rare instances where the media gets it right. If a superstar in the NFL or the NBA were in this same situation, both leagues would put immense pressure on the government to get them home. Especially if this were a superstar NBA player. The league's heavily reliant on stars to drive ratings and revenue. The public would apply pressure too. Reason being, those stars provide value. NBA players make billions of dollars every year for the league. Over 20 million people are watching the NFL every week. What value does Brittney Griner provide? I'm not talking about her life or her family life. Of course, her life is valuable. I think we can all agree 9 years for a little bit of reefer is a bit harsh. But I'm talking about getting the general public to give a shit about bringing her home. What value does she provide to get people to care? She doesn't provide value to the WNBA. The dump, they're going to lose the same amount of money whether she's falling on the floor over here or counting facial hairs in Russia. This is not a case of misogyny. Brittney Griner being a woke woman, that is not the reason America doesn't care. If this were Venus or Serena Williams, people would care. America doesn't care because Brittney Griner spent the last 2, maybe 3 years calling all of us mythical racist. Number 2. This cannot be mythical misogyny. It's impossible because Brittney Griner wants to be a man. Before her appeal was denied, she was allowed to say a few words to the court. I want you guys to close your eyes and listen to this for yourself. You tell me if this is a man or a woman. Roll the film.
I've been here almost 8 months, and people with more severe crimes have gotten less than what I was given. I want to also apologize for this mistake. I said in my first court that yes, I plead guilty. I did not intend to do this, but I understand the charges brought against me.
Like I said, even though I think most of us can agree 9 years is too harsh of a sentence here, it's not up to us to decide. When you travel to a foreign country, you're taking a risk. Following the law, it ain't optional like it is here in America. The media continues to claim this is a power game between Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden. Now, if that were really the case, Joe Biden would lose. The only thing powerful about Joe Biden is his ability to butcher the English language. I don't think Vladimir Putin could give a fuck less about this Bob Griner situation. The media, they continue to claim he is using her for leverage. Leverage for what? It's been, 8 months? He has yet to ask for anything in return for her release. According to the New York Times, Putin can't even be bothered to talk about it. The Biden administration keeps asking for a counteroffer. They keep getting ignored. Does that sound like someone using their leverage to you? If I'm Brittney Griner or her family, my biggest fear would be being forgotten. Over the last 8 months, she's been kept in the mainstream because there were a lot of unknowns, a lot of breaking news. You had the trial, then the guilty plea, then the sentencing, the appeal. Now, all that's done. There's nothing left for the media to talk about. More than likely, by this time next year, Brittney Griner will be forgotten. I would say she will be missed by the general public. You know, all those iconic moments like the time she shot a free throw into the opposing team's trash can, or the classic overtime game in the WNBA Finals where she managed to grow one more facial hair than her opponent. Classic moments that most of America missed, since 99.9% of the population has never seen her pretend to play basketball. But let me know what you think. Now that the judicial process is over, will Brittney Griner be forgotten by the mainstream media? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.